Happy New Year and welcome to a New Year edition of Business in Poland podcast. My name is Søren Christensen and this podcast is brought to you by businessinpoland.com, your key to the Polish market. But enough chit chat, let's get down to business. Overall, the predictions for the Polish economy is very good, and when it comes to the GDP, it is predicted to be a bit above 5% growth in 2022. But the inflation is still very high in Poland, and the big question is if it will keep being high or come down to a more normal level. I think it will keep being very high, at least for several months to come, if not the entire year. One of the reasons is the tax reform, and many people will ask for a raise, especially people on a B2B contract, and many small and medium-sized companies are aware of that, and it's also confirmed in a new survey. If you have not heard about the Polish steel tax reform, then I recommend you to listen to one of the previous podcast episodes that I have made to hear more about it. A part of the population in Poland will get more money in their hand due to the fact that they will pay less taxes. So they will have more money for consumption, but from an inflation perspective, we can hope most of them will save up this extra money. Another reason why I think the inflation will keep being high in Poland for a long time is that the Polish government, of course, wants to be re-elected, and the election is 11th of November 2023, the latest, and therefore it needs to come with some expensive benefits for the Polish voters, as it usually have in the past. That will, of course, also affect the customers' willingness to buy products and services. Another thing I expect in 2022 is more outsourcing to Poland, and mainly in the IT branch. 25% of all IT developers in Central and Eastern Europe are located in Poland, plus people from other countries such as Ukraine and India are still moving to Poland. So Poland is more and more the IT hub of Europe. And when the salaries still are lower than in many other countries, yes, then of course the companies would like to outsource to Poland. Also when the education level is so high as it is. If your firm wants to outsource to Poland, then check out my website, businessinpoland.com. I offer IT consultant services. I have worked with and in several big IT companies in Poland, and I have a huge network because of that. Also when it comes to IT developers. When we are talking about the IT branch in Poland, I also think we in 2022 will see more and more IT startups in Poland that will be bought by foreign companies due to the fact that many IT startups in Poland are very innovative. I'm often asked if I think Poland will leave EU or be kicked out by EU, and therefore I also have included it in this 2022 New Year special edition of the podcast. I don't think Poland will leave the EU, and there are two main reasons for that. Firstly, Poland needs the money from EU, especially when they have created a huge deficit on the state's budgets, and they need to come with expensive benefits to be re-elected, and especially now when they are unpopular due to the high inflation. That doesn't mean that the controversies between Poland and the EU will stop, not at all. I think that Poland might even get more and higher fines, but it will not go any further than that. I also expect that a bit more of the paperwork as an entrepreneur in Poland can be done online. I don't think that 2022 will be a huge step forward when it comes to this, but I think a bit by bit more will be digitalized, but it is still a long way before it will become as digitalized and easy as, for example, in Denmark. But it's going in the right direction, so that's positive.
Business news from Poland, put on the fortune and broke scale.
The Fortune and Broke Scale is, of course, also a part of Business in Poland podcast this year. On the Fortune scale is the news that it goes better for the retail space market, but it is currently difficult to say whether the sector has managed to recover from the lockdowns, but the situation looks much better than in 2020. This is according to the firm CBRE in Poland. The turnover generated on the portfolio that they managed between May and October 2021 was 15% higher than in the same period of 2020 and 6% lower than 2019. It is nice to see that this area of business in Poland also is recovering. On the broke scale is the news that the Polish companies will raise their prices due to the increasingly higher labor costs, and an increase in production costs are the main reason why they want to increase the prices. This is according to a study by the Polish Economic Institute, a public think tank. The data collected by PIE shows that as much as 70% of the surveyed companies indicated raising labor costs as an important or very important reason for the increase in prices. Not much less, 68% recognize the manufacturing cost as such. The results do not add up to 100% because entrepreneurs could indicate several reasons for the price increases. The results obtained by PIE shows the popular belief that supply shortages are the main reason behind the more offensive pricing of companies. This will of course also not help the fighting the rising inflation. But let's see what 2022 will bring. Thank you for listening and Happy New Year once again. And take care until next episode of Biz in Poland podcast that is brought to you by bizinpoland.com. Bye.